All right, everybody, welcome back to the American Dota League. It is day number 3 here. It's the first series of the evening between CNB Esports Club and Osiris Gaming. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. My name is Maud. With me, of course, tonight, as always, is the handsome, the illustrious Kyle Guy. How are you doing, sir?
Maud, I'm doing fantastic, and I am proud to be here and partake in this glorious American Dota event this evening. Day number 3, we get to see how the South Americans are going to contest against some of North America's finest, and I'm real excited.
I think I just shed a single tear while that was playing. Magnificent. What a way to start things off, ladies and gentlemen. We are the patriotic Dota League here, obviously, bringing you the best in North and South American action, obviously, all over both of the continents. Already we have some couple of bands coming out here for CNB as well as Osiris. And guys, obviously, before we get started, if you do want to support this patriotic Dota League, go ahead. $3.99 in the Dota store. You get that black monolith HUD. Great stuff there, obviously.
Sexy HUD.
Great. Just good-looking HUD. Absolutely, of course.
10 seconds remaining.
So, bands are coming out already, and, I mean, really just no surprises here. These teams really, they don't like to think outside the box, but I guess that's okay. That's all right.
I mean, Mont, you need food, you need shelter, you need to ban Ember Spirit and Lycanthrope. That's just the things you need in life, apparently.
That's it.
Because we see it every game.
Those are the 3 things that you need. Well, I guess 4 if you count both of those heroes separately, obviously. And some would argue even the Naga Siren as well. It's just like, do we really want to play against that hero? Do we really want to take it 50 minutes long and have to deal with Song of the Siren? I'm going to be honest with you. If Naga Siren was not in Dota, if she was just completely taken out in general, I would not mind. I don't think I would complain. I don't know if you're in the same vein as I am in that regard, but I just, gosh.
Well, for me personally, as a true support player, when I'm going against one of those dirty little, wannabe artsy Nagas, and they're trying to farm up, and the next thing you know, I'm dealing with these illusions that got a goddamn radiance. I can't even hold my own as a support, and yeah, it pisses me off. So yeah, Mon, I would be fine without the hero. But what I'm thinking is happening right now, and why they are banning it, is I'm thinking that they want to snag a Bat Rider right here. I'm feeling a Bat Rider between one of these first 2 picks, and they know that going against the Naga would be a serious problem, and I think they're happy to hand over the Invoker in the meantime to Osiris Gaming.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Bat Rider pick come out right now, and everyone loves that hero as well, and you hit the nail on the head, man. If you're a support player and it's like 40 minutes in, the Naga has like a radiance of like another item, you're like, you're gonna die. It's just like, oh, I'm being killed by illusions. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen today. That's excellent, good stuff.
5 seconds remaining.
But then on the other side of things, like if you're playing in a pub game and you have like this guy like that insta-locks Naga Siren, he's like mid, and then he's got like 100 CS at 30 minutes in, and you're just like, what were you doing the entire time? What were you doing with the farm? But so it goes both ways, I suppose. But you were right. They did pick up the Bat Rider coming out for CNB, Ancient Apparition as well, and Nyx Assassin for Osiris Gaming. I think we've seen them play this before and to great effect as well. But I think a good start for both sides, not really favoring one or another, and just all around a good draft coming through.
Yeah, pretty standard. Both teams not really giving away too much, information. I mean, Osiris Gaming had picked up their very prominent mid laner in the Invoker, but, given if things do change, they do have the audible to throw them in a safe lane. We don't see it too often anymore, but it is an option to fall back on. And, of course, Nyx Assassin will make a dominating appearance in that off lane, or at least hope to be dominating. He's just very tanky with the help of the Carapace. He can take in a lot of damage and just still kind of linger around long enough to build in the XP needed to get to level 6, and then when he gets that sweet Vendetta, that's when the action begins, and when he reaches his true potential to just lay some heavy initiation on the opposing team. Same story also goes, though, with the Bat Rider. He'll be able to linger in the offlane, fly over, take some side farm from the enemy, jungle area, and then just try to get an early Blink Dagger.
Yeah, and the thing is, we talk about this a lot, obviously, the Nyx Assassin, he doesn't have that potential to go to the jungle if things kind of go the other team's way in that kind of offlane form, so he's got to be careful. Bat Rider can always hit up the jungle at level 4, maybe even level 5, get some stacks going his way, and then get an early Blink Dagger like you talked about. And actually, the more and more I've been thinking about Nyx Assassin, a lot of people consider him as this ganking hero with Vendetta and nice pick-off potential as well, but you can even classify him to a certain extent as a team fighter, because if you hit those 3 or 4 man impales, that's going to change the course of a team fight, and I kind of value that a bit more than I do the Bat Rider and his lasso. Yes, he's got Flame Break, but honestly, Nyx Assassin, I feel like if you play him well enough, can be considered a very strong team fighting hero, and even better than the Bat Rider, in my honest opinion.
He's a fantastic counter to the Bat Rider in its own, especially if he manages to pick up a Blink Dagger for himself. If you're able to kind of cock block, if you will, the Bat Rider, all you have to do is just pull out this Bicarapace, even in any sort of the fire, and you're going to be shutting down the Bat Rider very simplistically. We see it a lot. We see it a lot also against the likes of like a Timbersaw, nullifying their mobility. But a Dazzle coming up as more of the babysitting hero. So Osiris Gaming could be thinking to go with something that requires more farm, more late game. No more Luna would have been the first thing I go to, but that's been banned out already. So I don't know, maybe like the likes of a Morphling or what have you. And then CNB, they pick up the Rubik as their secondary support. And before we talk more about the draft, I want to make sure if anyone doesn't know who CNB Esports Club is, these guys were formerly known as Swag and Tiger. They've been together for quite a while now. They're very, very good. I've seen them in multiple different, North American, South American style leagues, and they're very, very good. They're actually doing really well in CEVO as well. Their recent achievement, they were 2-0 against Team Wild in TiVo. So they're coming off a small hot streak.
Honestly, and they've got a couple of big names on their team. Kingered's been around the Dota scene for I don't know how long, at least since I've been casting, I think. He was on a team for ECAL, which I think was another kind of CNB team way back when I first started casting. If anybody remembers ECAL, I mean, this was, I think we're talking 2 years ago at this point. So, yeah, I mean, these are heroes and players. These are players that have been around for a long time, and they've been playing together for a bit of time as well. And they're strong, obviously. I think they brought down eHug in the, I think, Dota 2 Canada Cup. They had great play all around. Swag and Tiger just really good. And I think they even took the victory over Force Sweet Revenge to take the entire Canada Cup, but I might be wrong about that. Still, they're very strong. They pick up the DK as well. We see a lot of players, value this hero now as he's very strong mid. He likes to try to get that tier 1 tower as quickly as possible. In team fights, he can be pretty big as well. He doesn't do the most damage in the world, but Breathe Fire is that nice nuke going through. And I think it's a good pickup. On the other side of things, Osiris, they go for the Shadow Demon. You talked about defensive play coming out with the Dazzle, and this screams it with the Shadow Demon pickup coming out. But they do have the Invoker. Quas Exhort, man. You know how much I've been wanting it. Oh, boy.
Radiant team.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the appropriate lockdown to work with, it definitely can go hand in hand with the like of that disruption. So we'll see if it's something they go for, but most people nowadays, they just love that sweet crowd control of the Quas Wex. And we talked a little bit about CNB, but I know Osiris, we saw on day 1 of the ADL, they traded 1-for-1 going against Ban Earth Spirit. So they were dominated in the first game, and they kind of came back and managed to even things up. So they have, they're finding their groove for, how it is right now. For their 5th pickup, they're going to want a little bit of a core. I mean, I can't help but think that maybe the Mirana would be an option. She hasn't been banned out yet, people love that, quirky Shadow Demon Mirana combo as well, if they want to go with that. But they might want something that could just bring in a little more damage down the road.
Yeah, maybe a bit more of a late game carry. I agree with you. Mirana, she can do that. I mean, you get up a Maelstrom and a Mjolnir, and all of a sudden you're doing the damage, but maybe not as much as, say, something like a Faceless Void or even an Anti-Mage, which actually gets banned out. They don't want to have to deal with that with CNB Esports. Want to point out there's a lot of great, of course, players on the side of Osiris as well. I mean, and of course, Guanzo, formerly of AOSIN +4. Shout-outs to him. He was in chat a little bit earlier, and I mean, he's a very strong player as well. So looking forward to seeing what they can pick up here. They go for the Weaver, and you talked about this in a couple of drafts this past week. Ancient Apparition and Weaver together with that Chilling Touch. Ooh, baby, that damage, man.
That's something spicy right there, Mott. That's like the new age Mirana Bane combo. I mean, it works so good. Justin Weaver and Ancient Apparition, man. They do heavy damage. Throw out that Chilling Touch. You step right in with the Sakuchi. You manage to land that damage, a few Gemini attacks, and you're already dealing so much heavy burst early. They might even go for an early aggressive kill. I mean, if you manage to get Chilling Touch on 3 people, 50 damage for 3 attacks, 450 Mott. This is math I'm working with right now, but it's heavy burst.
It's not your mother's cooking, okay? It's a lot of damage, all right? You got to be careful, and it's something that you got to keep in mind. And as I say that, I will have to change some settings around, so hold that thought. My mic wasn't even on. I am so sorry, everybody, but no harm done. We're jumping into the game, and of course, as things go, this is going to be a good series, right? Should be a good one.
Should be a great one, It's going to see, CNB are making their debut in the ADL, and they haven't really done too much aside from CEVO, so this is a little bit of a bigger stage they get to be on, at least I think so. So they might want to put in a very strong early performance, and we'll see if they can do that against the Osiris Club, as they are looking to go very aggressive like we touched on. That Chilling Touch in combination with the Weaver on hand, if you throw the rest of your squad in, you might be able to get an early pickoff, and it's very, very close, but they don't seem quite yet. Oh, Oh,
You gotta be
Ned.
careful. Shadow Demon's backing off right now. He's like, no, I don't think I want to be there. That's a team, and they should know that Chilling Touch is ready to go, and that damage coming out from, well, they actually didn't go for Timid Attack yet. Obviously, Shikuchi might be a bit better for that level 1 ability, especially depending on the lane he's in, but we are going to get a quick pause, of course.
As you do in South American scene, pauses are hand in hand. So if you're playing the Peruvian/South American pausing game, please throw back your first beverage of the evening.
We're going to keep count for you guys here at home. Make sure you guys get all of your drinks in, but make sure to stay safe. Drive home safely. Obviously, it's a Thursday night, so Thirsty Thursday it may be for some of you. For others, you have to work tomorrow morning. Come on now, be careful. All right, here we go. Introductions for CNB Esports. We've got Ned. He'll be up on that Rubik. Nice little set going from there. We've got, of course, 4XD, Shakir 4XD on the Ancient Apparition. 40R will be on the Weaver. And then we'll see Kingard on that DK. Going to be going mid, it looks like. And then Toronto out. Tavo on the Batrider. Might be going safely. So Aggro Trilane going to be coming up from CNB, but looks good for their lineup here.
Yep, and for your side on Osiris Gaming, they've been toying off and on with some different stand-ins here. But Classic is back. He is on your Dazzle here in the bottom lane. He will be accompanying Willies, who last time we watched Willies, he was playing more of a support role. I distinctly remember him playing Bane.
Yeah.
This go around, he's actually playing Spectre, so that's a bit of a shift change right there. Their stand-in on the support, maybe he might be a support player, is going to be what looks like, it says Gamer there, but according to the site chart, it says stand-in Pat. So we'll just roll with Pat, if you remember. We have OS in your mid lane, Invoker, and to round things up on the off lane, we got Guanzo, of course, playing the Nyx Assassin.
And this is something that is interesting for the Invoker, and I talked about it, I touched on it a little bit. When you go for Quas Exhort, you generally pick up the Null Talisman first. He went for a Blades of Attack, which I think means more of a Quas Wex build, so you might be right talking about that Quas Wex and seeing, of course, getting that kind of control, but they have the Disruption, which means Sunstrikes are so easy to land. I mean, honestly, if they want to pump out that early damage, they can get it. They can get a couple kills and have that extra flavor to their tri-lane, which is defensive right now. And we'll see if Willies can go up and get last hits. He has, of course, the Quelling Blade. There's going to be the Chilling Touch. Telekinesis is ready. The right clicks, the Shikuchi as well. It's spicy. Willies about to fall. There it goes. First blood going to go for the Ancient Apparition. Look at that damage, my friend. That is disgusting.
I've said it time and time again, that's got to be one of the best, if not the best, level 1 abilities in the game right now, and probably part of the reason you'll see this hero banned time and time again in these drafts. That Chilling Touch is just so much damage, and I'm sure Dazzle briefly regrets not picking up the Shallow Grave first. I mean, if I'm personally playing support Dazzle and I see this lane, I'm going to wait to level up the ability because I know they're going to make a move, and I want to know if I need to either have the Poison Touch or a Grave ready, and if I had a Grave there, he might have been able to live.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree with you. Holding the point, especially against an aggro tri-lane, certainly would be super nice to have, and I'm surprised, actually, that the Shadow Demon, who I believe might be Pat Soul, didn't use that Disruption on Willies just to save his life, at least for another moment, but I guess it was just in delaying the inevitable, I suppose. But this is going to be a lane that CNB should pretty much take control of, no problem. It's not even going to be an issue. I'm surprised also that Osiris didn't dodge the lane. They didn't head up top and try to go there, but this means that you're winning 2, maybe even 3 lanes for CNB right now because they have the last hit lead in that mid lane going for the DK as well.
Yeah, they're feeling really confident right now. A bit of a tift here at the bottom rune. It is going to be your invisibility. Quick use of the actually an illusion end up popping up, and then now they're making a move on Shadow Demon, trading some blows from the hill. He does get a bit of a miss and will pull back. Looked like an invisibility rune, and all of a sudden he had an illusion. I'm not too sure what happened there.
I think the illusion was the 0-minute rune, and then he picked up the invis as it spawned at 2 minutes, because that's the timing that we're at right now. But yeah, it was confusing. I don't know what's going on half the time.
Double runes all the way.
That's right. CNB, they love it. Just gonna stare at the sky for those runes. So if you look at it right now, 14 last hits coming out for the DK, and Breathe Fire doing a lot of work for the DK. It is gonna be Quas Wex, and I'm disappointed, man. I mean, just one day I'll see Quas Exhort, I guess.
Yeah, you know, it's a nice little niche thing to have, and definitely something you'll see very often in the pub scene. But I mean, if it doesn't work out in your favor and you don't get those early, Sunstrikes off and get those early kills, you're not going to really have too much to fall back on. You're going to have to just hope you have something like push heavy, and their team right now is not very push heavy. It's more of let's try to prolong a bit and see if we get Spectre to be a real nuisance later. So I think for now, just the crowd control is something they're going to look to use.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with you. Down bottom, it looks like they will, of course, abandon this tri-lane, and Yeah, that's a good point. Talking about the pushing utensils you have for Osiris and the Quas Exhort, and that's really the only reason you go for Quas Exhort. Yes, the Sunstrike's a nice added bonus, but it's usually going to be Quas Wex from now on at this point in the meta and the draft and this patch. So right now there's actually a Smoke of Deceit gank coming out from CNB. They're going to roam through. They're looking for a potential pickoff. They might find the Shadow Demon here. They're sitting right here next to Guanzo. They know they've rotated, so we'll see what happens. Anything going on. It looks like CNB, they're going to catch out the Shadow Demon, but they're not going to be in range for telekinesis. He'll be able to back off just fine. They were a bit too aggressive there. They should have maybe waited for him to come through and try to, of course, get some of that CS from the pull, but they'll contest it and get some nice farming experience for themselves.
Yeah, it was a good game plan that they were going for. They definitely hid far away to make sure they can get that smoke started, hoping to catch someone out. You know, they knew it was about that time for the pull, and Shadow Demon had it available, so they were just going to try to spring a trap. But regardless, they bully him out, and they take in a lot of the EXP themselves. So it's good as you see Ruben continuing that, and Shadow Demon is kind of left scratching his head, figuring out what the best thing will be able to do for this lane.
Yep, while it was all happening, he actually tornadoed up Kingard and denied the haste rune that Kingard was definitely going to get had that tornado not been there. So real impressive play. I do want to throw up the HUD, guys, that we, of course, have on sale, the $3.99 Dota ticket. And I'll throw it up just a moment when there's no action happening, making sure, of course, we've got a bit of a second here. It's actually, it's really nice. Oh, apparently I don't have it on right now, so never mind. You'll see you next game. Sorry to entice you guys and then just kind of throw it down the drain, but no.
We're all salivating at the mouth, I'm sure, wanting to see this sweet and sensual black HUD, but they will have to wait one game. That's fine. But action will continue here as it looks like the mid-CS game. Dragon Knight is the favor, which we weren't surprised there. I mean, he is going to be going against this like phase boot build Invoker with heavy base damage, but he's got, you know, enough tanking and durability to withstand that and just still find his CS. So he's about one wave ahead of Invoker right now. He's probably just going to lay flat here until Invoker decides to make moves elsewhere, and then maybe he'll pop his level 6 and try to sneak in that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and this is a great game for him right now. He doesn't have to do anything like roam and kind of just lose out on experience and gold here. He can continue to CS. We've seen DKs have trouble in the past because the other lanes are losing, but in this scenario, all of their lanes are pretty much winning. Yes, the Bat Rider now is being contested top, but he still is fine. He's got decent last hits here. Willies is still struggling to try to find farm. All the meanwhile, bottom, Guanzo's getting harassed down by a pretty disgusting dual lane with, of course, 4DR and Shakir 4XD. So when it comes down to it, oh, lasso up from Willies. He's going to get caught out. Just caught the tail end of that, and Tavo picking up the kill. And, well, that is definitely the lane going in their favor for sure now.
Yeah, that's something you don't want. You don't want to be hitting over this Spectre who really needs that farm. You don't want to hit anything over, especially to a Bat Rider. Now he's that much closer to the Blink Dagger. His Tranquils have already been done, but once he gets that Blink Dagger, I mean, they're going to have huge control over the mid game as far as initiation.
Yeah, he's getting close, too. He's about 500 gold away, but meanwhile, Disruption mid, Soul Catcher is going to hit on Kingard right now. There's the Cold Snap, the EMP as well. He's pretty tanky. He's a DK. He's got that bonus armor for the Dragon Blood, and he will survive. Just too much tankiness coming out for that DK there as well. He'll back away and make sure he gets out of any sort of trouble.
It's pretty admirable how durable he is, even with only one level in Dragon's Blood, and he didn't even have his power treads at that time.
Yeah.
Look at this OS feeling really confident, trying to shove back the Ancient Apparition, but catches out. The Dragon Knight's still nearby and will pull back, and it looks like top lane Ned is trying to make a pull happen for himself. The support duo of Dazzle and then Spectre trying to contest it, but nothing really coming of it right now. And well, Spectre still needs a lot more time before she can be level 6. Then finally she can work on popping the Haunt at appropriate gank time and just pretty much going for kills.
Yeah,
kill steals rather.
I mean, she has Desolate, so that bonus damage to pick heroes off is there, ready to go, and that's interesting to note. No, of course, Dispersion, just to have that kind of damage reflection. So Willies is getting farm now, but he's stuck at 22 last hits, and he's not going to be getting a Midas or anything like that. No real item to help him farm that much, but he's getting room to farm, and I don't think it's time for them to hit the panic button just yet. They, of course, are behind now. There is a Midas up in the Weaver that he just picked up down in that bottom lane. That's about a 7-minute Midas, plus, of course, the Ring of Basilius, so not too bad. And honestly, you know, Weaver can carry pretty hard as well, but I don't know. This game, if it can go late here, Osiris can get back into it, but as it stands now, they should be down by a bit. Almost 3,000 gold, as you can clearly see. on the meantime, Ned looking for potential gank. Telekinesis is up. He's going to, of course, bring him back. Fade Bolt him as well. Cold Feet. Nice Shallow Grave, but only going to keep him alive for a second longer. Classic's going to back away. Nice Tornado coming through. Willie's still alive. Using his stick charge, but will fall. Oz as well, getting caught out of position. And now getting dove behind the tower. Tamo is going ham. Looking for Classic. He cannot pick up the kill. Not yet anyways. He's looking for it now. He'll back away. Nobody else going to be coming in except for this TP coming through from Guanzo. He'll Medetta up, but it's a bit too late already. A 2-for-0 exchange, and still Osiris, they do not have a kill on the board.
Hello, Brazil. Welcome to the American Dota League. Snagging ahead, now moving on 4-0. Very nice job. Great timing on the lasso to still hold in place, and they take down the Spectre again. CNB putting in serious work early in their first debut match here in the ADL.
Yeah, they're looking real strong, real solid as well. And honestly, it's actually surprising how well they're playing here. And Osiris, I think that really, they haven't played that poorly, but their draft, clearly, you can see right now that they've been out-drafted, they've been out-laned, they've pretty much lost almost every single lane, and from here on out, it's going to be a very, 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 very big uphill battle to go. So Kingard, he's already got his treads up, 1,000 gold in the bank, he'll try to work towards his Lothars more than likely, and as it stands, I think that Osiris, they've got to get something done. Is it a team fight? Is it a smoke? Is it just making room for the Spectre? They have a couple of options. I'm not sure what they're going to do, though.
I mean, my best bet would be just try to stay alive, to lay things out, and just hope that Spectre can finally find the farm. She's crippled so much already, and CNB is already doing so great, and things are only going to get worse. Bat Rider is about to complete his Blink Dagger. It's actually already done. He's just inheriting a little bit of extra gold in case he wants to go for a smoke and TP to get into the firefight right away. There's the smoke, just like that. So now he's ready to make action continue here. This is going to be a snowball that's going to roll out of control real quick and real fast. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, but the good thing is down in that bottom lane, they did get a pick off on, of course, the Rubik being too aggressive on that Shadow Demon, almost getting the kill for himself, but help came through in the form of Guanzo and his Vendetta, and they pick up a nice return kill, the first of the game coming up for Osiris. So at least they've got that going, but now Oz is getting engaged on. There's the Elder Dragon form, the Dragon Tail as well. He does have Ghost Walk ready to get invoked up in 4 seconds. It's going to be tough to bring him down, but the Blank Lasso now in Classic. Oh, he is a dead dazzle. Spike Carapace is up for Guanzo. He's going to get Telekinesis. There's a nice 3-minute pill. Do they have the follow-up? They'll grab Ned, but they lose, of course, Guanzo in the end. Nice Tornado is going to fly through. Can they get anything else done? There's the Disruption as well, but that'll just back them all off, as you can clearly see. A 2-for-1 trade. And Haunt's going to come through. They want to clean this up. Can they get anything done? He's going to Reality End, trying to go for the Ancient Apparition, but not going to die for it, even though he might have gotten that kill.
No, that's got to be, after that whole team fight and everything, that's got to be pretty morally defeating right there. I mean, still just not giving up or giving in, only handing over as support in the meantime, but they are taking all the fights they want. Dazzle tried to run there and make something happen, but immediately got lassoed up. It was devastating how quick he went down, and they just lost all that bonus support and heal for their team, and it just got worse from there. I don't know, man. This is going to be pretty rough for Osiris. I mean, Spectre's already got her back against the wall, not getting any farm anywhere, and now just kind of lollygagging around the mid lane, about to eat a snowball in the face. There it goes.
Ooh, that can't feel good. That is not what Spectre wanted to have happen, especially with the way this game is going. Like you mentioned, important to note that fight, 4 versus 5 for the entire thing. A lot of heroes came in, a lot of heroes died as well for Osiris, and Weaver not even needing to be there. He decided to farm up in that top lane, trying to get towards his treads first. It looks like he already has his Aquila, his Midas as well. He'll Shikuchi away, maybe suspecting some danger, of course. A smart player there, realizing that Nyx Assassin was roaming right around behind him. So right now, 2-6, 12 minutes in, 62 last hits for the Weaver. He's going to start carrying pretty hard in a couple of minutes, assuming he can get some more CS. They're going to try to deal with him with a gank. Guanzo has that Vendetta on cooldown, but here we go. Tornado, EMP. Actually misses sentries on the ground, and this is going to be tough. Cold Snap's going to come through. Do they have enough damage here before the time lapse? The Cold Snap's going through. Not enough, though. Guanzo gets caught out. Oh, gets Breathe Fire. Roasted Bug right there.
That's heartbreaking right there. So close to getting him down, and now they might lose more. Classic on the run. Sakuchi hits him in the backside of Gemini Tech to fall. There goes the Bug Swarm. In the meantime, it looks like the Bat Rider... What's happening here? The Bat Rider gets a kill on the opposite side of the map. They still want to go for Weaver in the meantime. Sakuchi back, thinking about toying with Owens, but it will not happen. Tornado off to the Unfortunately, the east side it looked like, and he'll just pull back.
Has fallen.
That's just like, he was hoping that Weaver was there. He's like, I'm going to hit it. Skill shot, I'll be the best player ever. But now he's in the trees, and unfortunately, of course, 40R will get away. So, rough game for Osiris right now. You can't fault them for trying with this draft, obviously. They're trying to get something done with Spectre, but it's getting harder and harder, and the game is becoming close to, not necessarily unwinnable, but it feels, I guess, just it's got to be weighing on them mentally, this game at this point. You wonder, maybe, do they GG out because of a rough game that they're having, or do they continue to try to fight here? And I think that they're going to continue to go. If they can get a nice team fight going their way, they're smoking it maybe, or just rounding up mid looking. Yeah, they are going to smoke mid. They're going to look for maybe a top defense. And here's a team fight that could get them back into the game if they grab a couple of kills. We'll see. But the only one roaming up is Guanzo. Everyone else is kind of taking a longer path as it stands right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Brazilians, at least from what I've seen, like to play very aggressive, and maybe Osiris feel that if they get a little over-aggressive and a little too overconfident, they might give a little bit of life back to Osiris and throw something away. Now, Guanzo trying to make a move in the meantime, misses the Impale, unfortunately. There goes the Soul Kenter Tornado to fly. Big EMP will land. No more mana for DK as he's going to get brought down for a few more right clicks. Can they get it? They got it. Now Rubik trying to make a runaway with no more mana to work with. The jump-in lasso. Oh! Die Hard Tavo, he's not going to get out of this one, will be taken apart. Shallow Grave trying to save out the Spectre, who will make a retreat, and there we go. Osiris getting the best thing they've gotten all game so far, taking down 2.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Smoke up, you talked about that over-aggression coming out from CNB, that lasso, not necessary. Lose one, back off. Don't even go for that fight with that Batrider, but he suicides himself to the other side, and all of a sudden Osiris pick up 2 quick kills, and Willies has room to farm now. He's going to have his drum very soon. I think he just needs the robe of the Magi, and all of a sudden he'll become a fighting force here. He can dish out the damage soon. Ice Blast flies top. That'll push him back here, but just a bit of harass. And I don't know, man. It's looking okay now. Not too bad for Osiris. They stopped the bleeding for a moment, but can they, of course, just keep on trucking here?
It's a small step up on a very high hill to climb. I mean, it's nothing to just start screaming GG with or whatever. I mean, she's trying to finally get those drums online. She's already like a full item behind anything this Weaver will have, and he already has a Midas that he's been working with for quite some time, so he definitely still has the late game very well secured. It's going to take a few more throws before Osiris can really start to get confident here. Maybe a proper contention at the Roshan area at an appropriate time might work in their favor, but all the meanwhile, this bottom lane is about to be acquired by the Brazilian squad.
Yeah, they're going to go for a trade stop, and in fact, they get the Impale up on the Ancient Apparition. He will fall. Nice pickup there. We'll see if they can get the Tier 1 tower as well, but it looks like they're backing off now. CNB, they need a second here, and they'll pause and disconnect as they, of course, need the read connection here. So here's the thing. 40R, like you said, he has that Midas, and while he's not doing much now, by the time Osiris get maybe a couple of items going for them, the Weaver, his Midas is going to start paying off, and he's going to start having items like a Lincoln Sphere potentially. It's going to fly it to him maybe soon. He's got the Ultimate Orb up and ready to go. He's got that Belt of Strength to build into treads at some point in time, and then his next item will be online even sooner. So there's this period of time for Osiris where they can kind of be aggressive, but also, I mean, you've got to deal with Lasso, you've got to deal with whatever Rubik has, and obviously the DK doing so much work in these fights. So it's a bit of a kind of, can they get anything done here in this period of time? And we'll see how it goes in the next couple minutes for Osiris right now.
Yeah, I mean, CNB were getting a little sloppy right there. Definitely over-aggression, like I was pointing out, especially on the Batrider's part in that big fight there in the top lane. And I think that recent pick off of Ancient Apparition was just him being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Just a little overconfidence, trying to hold the lane on his own right. The rest of his team, they have their own objective, and that's get the bottom tower. They will succeed. I very much doubt that Osiris is going to be making a rotation to defend it here in the outright. Yeah. And we are going to get back to the game, though, and that was a pause, however, so hopefully everyone is having a nice, sweet, delicious second beverage.
Yeah, guys, make sure you take that drink, obviously, and cheers each other as well. And that tier 1 tower will fall. There was no fortification, so even if they wanted to defend it, it'd be really difficult to do so. So they'll lose that tower, and now CNB, they're going to make their home inside of the opposing team jungle. They'll throw up a ward as well just to make sure they have map control coming through, and we'll see, of course, this kind of aggression continue onwards as the game goes further. Kingard with that double damage rune. That is a scary, scary dragon. Now he's red. He's turned from green to red, getting even angrier as the game moves forward. TP coming through this time. It's going to be from Guanzo just to make sure they push those two heroes off of that tower and make sure that they don't get it for free. They couldn't get that tier 1 top while they were all up there kind of just getting some farm as a team. And that's it seems like they didn't get much out of that time while the tier 1 was taking bottom.
I feel like they're just going to be prolonging all of their outer towers as long as possible without throwing anything away. They'll eventually just accept the fact that with all the push power that looks like CNB are going to bring forward, like they're just going to lose all the towers. It's just a matter of hoping whether or not the Spectre can come back for them and be the dark horse and just kind of lay out enough damage to quickly clear out all the weaker support on CNB and try to pull it back for him. But if they throw away a couple of kills here, I mean, Eyes in the mid lane, Bat jumps in, grabs Willie's up with the lasso, pulling up to the high hill. Can he get him up there? He will. Ice Blast to fly. It does catch with the help of the lift, and they take him down. And I just said they can't throw away kills, and they do. And CNB, all the more confident right now, might look to make a push happen here.
And to add insult to injury, Ned picked up the haunt, the reality as well. He's got that going for him. He used it in the middle of that fight. That's funny. Oh, goodness. They grab Willies again. Meanwhile, 40R getting caught out. No mana to Shikuchi, no mana to time-lapse, but he will be fine. He used that Shikuchi as he was getting tornadoed and EMP'd up. So, rough time for us trying to get that kill. What I want to draw attention to, though, I mean, look at this net worth graph coming through the chart. You could see 2 heroes at 7,000 already for CNB, and this is just devastating, I think, for Osiris right now. And the fact that Willie's died again, just detrimental to their game plan. Tabo looking for Guanzo. Nice spike carapace. Tabo's not going to lasso up just yet. Now maybe it's going to go. Nice flame break back. The telekinesis. Textbook play coming out from these two heroes. Not even needing to use the lasso, which was, of course, on cooldown for a couple more seconds there for Tabo, but another pickup going their way.
Yeah, they make it look easy. They just swarm around him like a gang. Just taking him apart, just... Very, very nice work coming on, and then it's just looking more and more grim here. Even Willie's just can't even stand up to the Dragon Knight in the mid lane. Eats a few auto attacks there, and we'll have to pull all the way back. I mean, you're talking a 4K net worth Spectre, well below half of the core on the CNB side. Weaver at 8,300. Just, I don't think there's coming back from this.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Ox going to look for that Weaver kill. Can he get at the cold snap? No, the time lapse as well to add insult to injury. The lasso is up. They grab another one on Oz. He gets caught out of position. And, well, 12-5. And I mean, 18 minutes in, and it's getting close to 10K here. They're just choking out their opponent. It's not done yet, but really, it's not over, like they say, until the fat lady sings, but she seems to be warming up right now. It's really CNB Esports. They're about to maybe look for Roshier, or at least grab a couple more kills in the jungle, and even take this tier 1 tower top, as 40R is finally getting more room to farm. It's Lincoln Sphere about to be completed soon. I think there might be a recipe on the courier. In fact, there is, so he just needs that Void Stone, which he will have right now, and there's that Lincoln's coming through.
Yeah, I think the safe and smart thing to do here on CNB would lay out a couple. Have one right here already placed by the Shadow Demon, so they can scout out the opportunity to do a Roshan for themselves. That'd be the safe and smart thing to do. Just get that, get that in your arsenal to work with, so then you can go for a nice formal push here. Don't get too over aggressive. But for now, though, they're just kind of congregating here in the top lane and kind of just going back and going to resume farm. I think they should just get a little more aggressive now and just try to take the rest of the towers down and look to try to break the high hill here.
Yeah, and they are actually going to grab another kill on Willie's. My goodness, how many deaths does he have to his name? He's got 6 of them, so almost half the deaths in this game are going to that Spectre, and that's not a fault of his. That's just, of course, them focusing down the carry as much as possible. 40R diving on Classic. He's going to Shadow Grave himself and might be able to get back. Oh, no, the Gemini attack. Oh, the Shadow Wave going through. Meanwhile, Nick's Assassin grabbing a kill mid on Shakir 4XD. They missed that one. At least they get a kill going their way. That hasn't happened in a while.
A little something. H Aberration's been notoriously known to kind of be out of position. It's just kind of, another of the same. But in the meantime, though, CNB scouting up above. Batrider's got his lasso ready. He's hanging on the high ground. Will he jump forward and think about looking for Guanzo? No, he will not. Pull back. The infamous blue rune will be on the top of the river. The DD looking very luscious right now. It looks like Dragon Knight might be the one to take it up for himself. Now acquired with that Shadow Blade. Look for him to bulldog forward into a heavy initiate with the help of the Dragon Tail and just try to lay out some heavy damage with the Dragon. But no, for now it looks like they're finally going to pay attention to the Roshan pit.
Yeah, and you expected this sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, Tavo getting caught out. Nice Force Staff, missing up on the ADP there because of it. So, like I was saying, I mean, on the Dire side, when you have this much of an advantage, you've got to think about doing Roshan at some point, especially because they have this dying. Rubik picked it up, and it's just going to be so nice to have here. It'll bring it down very quickly, and there might be a rotation coming through from Classic or from whoever, but they don't seem to know this is happening. And even if they do, they can't really contest it. So Free Roshan, free Aegis is going to come through from CNB right now, meaning Kingard, he'll probably pick up the Aegis as he's the only one here around. Obviously, the Weaver up in that top lane, continue to farm. Aegis is up, Tornado not really connecting too far away. With the Aegis, now is the time to go for the towers. Now is the time to push in. Now is the time to be aggressive, especially considering that Lincoln Sphere is done for CNB's Weaver.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, I mean, they could wait out and wait for Dragonite to maybe finish his BKB, but I don't think any of that's really necessary. They should feel confident to make it happen. It looks like even Batrider's trying to go for a BKB or a Heaven's Hybrid. I'm not too sure either way. In his own right there, it's got plenty of farm to work with. Obviously, Lincoln's already complete, and Weaver has nearly, a little over 1,700 gold to work with. Imagine going to that into a Desolator, but all gathering here in the bottom lane. Looks like they're going to try to go for the tier 2 tower. Will be an easy pickup, but we'll see if they commit to making a move inside the base now.
Bottom tower
yeah, and I think they're going to grab this tier 2 tower just fine. If they wanted to defend it, they'd have to fort, and that means that if they lost the fight, they would lose to tier 3 instead of Rax. So the tier 2 should fall here. Tabo's going to be aggressive, blinking forward, looking for potential lasso pick-off, but they're smart. They're back inside the base and making sure they're actually going to try to get a trade here. Fortification up top. As you can see, they used the glyph for that tier 1 tower. Ice Blast coming through. Os backing off now. Guanzo, he'll take the debuff, but not the impact damage. All the while, the tier 3 tower taking a bit of harass here. Not too much, only the siege creep actually hitting it now. So the tier 1 tower, I believe the first tower of the game for Osiris to pick up. Now they're going to TP home and try to defend.
Didn't even notice that. They hadn't even gotten a tower yet. That's unreal. That's so much gold that they just haven't had the opportunity to get. I mean, if they somehow manage to take a big fight here, they could quickly clean up a bunch of towers and inherit a lot of gold. But right now, the opportunity is nowhere in sight. And Spectre's still trying to get a big item for themselves. Clearly by now they would love to be having that Radiance already online if that's their choice, or fall back on just a basic, reliable Yasha into maybe a Diffuse or what have you. Yeah, but just for now, it's Phase Boots and Drums. That's it.
She's very sad. She's very sad, Spectre, coming up from Willie's right now. Guanzo being very far up here. No Gem of True Sight, I don't believe, coming up from Tavo, but the Blink Lasso. Oz getting caught out. That's the Invoker. That is your main team fighter. Nice disruption coming through. Kingard pops the BKB. Looking for, of course, the Shadow Demon. He gets graved up. Everyone very low coming out. They actually lose one for CNB here. A lot of defensive utility coming through from Osiris. And they get a couple, well, at least one kill out of it. They're not done yet. They still want to dive. The dust is going to fly through. Meanwhile, Guanzo might get caught out. 40R doing a lot of damage. Nice disruption here on the high ground. They cannot continue to chase further. Now, actually, Kingard getting caught out. He does have the Aegis. Even if he goes down, he will be ready to go again in just a couple of seconds here. But he's taking a lot from Willie's. They've got to back off. Everyone, of course, from Osiris back up to pretty much full here. Kingard getting chased down. They've got the Sentry Ward. Spectral Dagger will connect. 40R, they weaved up on him. Guanzo, now the Tornado. It hits up. Is it going to be enough damage to pop the Aegis? There it goes. The Impale will fly. Now 40R getting caught out of position. Ice Blast, long range. Gonna hit on pretty much everybody. Of course, for Osiris. Double kill coming out for the Weaver. Looking for Os. Os might get dove. Nice time lapse out. Now gonna chase after Willie's. He'll Spectral Dagger away. Looks like the fight may end up, of course, completing here, but that's about as good as a fight as you're gonna get for Osiris, and still they lose 3, maybe even 4 heroes there.
Yeah, definitely their best opportunity, and that all came because of the over-aggression from CNB, but they're fortunate enough that they've had enough farm that they can still hold their own. They did have a few casualties, and they did use a buyback to get back to where they are now, but I mean, that's it. You just said it. That's as good as it's going to get for them. They are unable to capitalize on that situation, and now CNB are going to acquire another tower for themselves. They could decide to pull back. They could decide if they wanted to go for the top tier 2 instead, but for now, it's just kind of this conga line back through the jungle.
Yeah, and honestly, CNB, they've played so well this game, and that last fight, though, looked like a bit of a pub team fight when you think about it. Diving past tier 2 towers, even going to the tier 3, fighting when maybe you should back off and just say, let's regroup and get back together. And of course, really just solid play from Osiris. That's what happens if they hit all of their defensive abilities. Unfortunately, it's just not enough. Luckily, Os, he's got that Orc Malevolence up. There is the Sentry Ward. Oh god, Os, you're getting caught out potentially. No, they're backing away. They're afraid of him, but now they realize he's alone. Blink forward, Tavo. He gets Ghost Walked. Of course, he cannot really go that fast when he's under that debuff, so they'll have to back away now. And there is at least something. That item for Os, now he's actually the 3rd in net worth, and he's going to be maybe the shining hope for Osiris as they continue to try to defend their base and the tier 3s and whatnot.
Yep, it's going to take a lot, though. I mean, they have plenty of disabled. They have the crowd control. We'll have to see how good their hill game will be when they have to try to defend the tier 3s here, when CNB are going to look to try to make the push into the base. But for now, though, they're just kind of congregating around the bottom lane, slow pushing in right now. They always have to fear the Bat Rider, who's able to grab in. If he gets sights, preferably on the Spectre, he will be able to pull him back, and they do have the power to burst her down before the opportunity to pull out the Haunt. If we look over the buybacks, they don't have too much, though Spectre does have one alongside the Nyx Assassin, but that's it for everyone.
Yeah, and at that point you have to wonder, is that going to be enough? I mean, Spectre's not even doing much when she's alive, so if they buy back on her, maybe to clean up and, you know, we'll see if she can get a couple of kills and stay alive after that buyback. She's still looking for that first item, like you mentioned, 3,000 gold. I'd be very surprised to see a Radiance here. That's not going to do that much work, I think, but I've been wrong before. Maybe go for that Diffusal, maybe that Yasha. All the meanwhile, the DK's got that Hyperstone up ready to go. Assault Cuirass might be his next choice, as BKB's been done for a while. CNB are just outpacing them. Oh no. Shadow Demon, you are just barely going to live. 40R doing so much damage, and no Deso. If he had that Deso, probably gets the kill, though.
Yeah, I was way out of position there from Shadow Demon. Somehow, counting his lucky stars, was able to get away. The other two Chuckleheads here hiding up in the hop, waiting the TP back out of there. CNB just forced to pull back as they're trying to split push just a little bit for themselves, take a little pressure off of the base, create a little bit of space there so that their core can get a little bit of farm. Willie's trying to do it. He's still holding 3,500 gold. You know, we talked about the options. I'm thinking maybe potentially a Manta could try to work if she's a little more elusive, but yeah. For now, it's all in Willie's hands. What he's going to do to pull it out for his team.
Well, he just needs any item, man. At this point, he just needs literally any old item, I'd say, for Willie's here. So, I mean, he's got options, like you mentioned, but it really comes down to just securing farm. They're actually taking a long time to push into the base, though, which is a good thing. They're not really grouping up and taking this tier 2. And the later this game goes, the more I favor Osiris, even with this massive gold deficit now hitting 15k.
Radiant's top tower is under
It looks like Dragon Knight scared out the Invoker from the mid lane with the power of that haste, and his Shadow Blade now makes a long rotation all the way back to the top lane where they all are. This looks like they will finally go for the bush after acquiring the tier 2 tower, looking to take the high hill. There goes the Dragon form. It's level 3. It's going to be doing real big, hard damage on this tower right now. Shadow Poison's already to fly out. We'll see if Osiris Gaming can hold the hill here. Crowd control coming. There goes the Tornado EMP. Jumping from the bats, unsuccessful. He's eating a bit of damage right here. Gets stunned out, but Dazzle ripped apart very quickly. The squishy support goes down. Tornado to fly back from the Rubik. And now they put their attention on the tower. King RD laying away with that dragon form. 2 already down here. They're unable to take anyone from the Brazilian side. All the meanwhile, Spectre not deciding to pull out the Haunt yet and defend this one. Instead, looking to push the bottom lane and get that tier 1 tower here, but they're going to lose a Rax. And there it goes. King RD, Breath of Fire, clears the rest of the wave. Tornado for now, but that Rax is down.
Oh man, that was the damage that came out from the DK and the Weaver real quick in that fight. Obviously, they blew up 2 supports with just 1 Breathe Fire and the splash damage coming out from the DK. Haunt was used, but not able to do anything with it. Obviously, he has that relic now. Maybe go Divine Rapier for the Spectre, I guess. I mean, at this point, that's really going to help. I don't really know if you're going to be alive long enough to actually do the damage, but especially because your illusions won't get that bonus damage as well, I believe. So it's going to be a ratings here for the Spectre, and you know, all jokes aside, all kidding aside. But man, like that was tough. There was nothing they could do about that. They tried to initiate, but they were just too far forward with the Shadow Demon. They were too far forward with that Dazzle, and it cost them, but then again, there's not much they can do in this game as of right now.
Willies, I mean, yeah, Radiance is not going to contribute too much as far as survivability for Spectre here. It's going to be one of those waiting games for waiting in the balcony for the right time to make the jump in. Might have to sacrifice a few members of their own team to just lay out some early punishment, and maybe then with the help of a Haunt and the Radiance, you could try to clean up a couple of supports and get the momentum going and prevent CNB from focusing on pushing in the rest of your base. But that is a tall glass to order, so they're going to try to fall back. But you have to be careful here. CNB is looking to make a move in. There goes the fly and the dragon form. Shadow Blade to fly out. They got to run quick. There goes the Ice Blast. Williams gets caught with the Dragon Tail. Disruption, temporary saves. Shallow Grave goes off a little bit early. They're turning. They're looking to fight, but Dazzle's going to end up going down. Tornado from the Rubik will do it, and now Weaver running right on through Cleaning House. Invoker's thrown up and right back down, and he's taken down as well. 3 fall. Batrider, the only casualty right now on CNB as they regroup here in the mid lane. and look to push and probably take a second set of wrecks.
How much punishment can Osiris take this game? I just they are gluttons for it right now. They're having a rough time, and honestly, that last fight just showing just who's dominating this game now. Of course, Kingard doing so much work, 40R kind of on the back line, slipping through, weaving in and out, the Nerubian Assassin. Now the telekinesis, they catch out Guanzo. They had, of course, the Gem of Truth right there. That's another hero going down. One respawns. That'll be the Dazzle. Of course, the Shadow Demon's still here, but this tier 3 tower, like you mentioned, and a set of racks about to fall, it seems, as we're getting closer and closer to the midnight hour for Osiris.
Yep. I don't think there's any coming back from this. Maybe you're trying to wear thin CNB, stretch them for all they're worth before we hop into a game 2, make them a little more fatigued when we jump into it, I guess, is the fallback tactic here. But I mean, finally, with a Radiance acquired, you can bring in the farm a little bit quicker and try to clear the waves fast, but you have 2 different lanes that are going to be offering a lot less gold and just constant pressure into your base. So I don't know how they're going to come back from this one. It is Roche time, however. CNB, they're looking to take it and just have even more control.
Yeah, and you know, this is a Roshan that you expect to take, obviously, coming out from CNB, and one that they're thinking right now is going to win them the game. I mean, they maybe feel that they should have won already at this point, but this Roshan is, in their minds, going to try to secure, of course, the victory. The thing about, of course, the creeps coming in, of course, the bigger creeps, the mega creeps up in that top lane, and I've heard this somewhere, I'm not sure who said it, but it gives you a safer place to farm here. I mean, yes, it's consistently pushing in, it's not giving you that much gold or experience, but it's something, it's reliable farm that you can get in your base without dying, and that gives at least Spectre room to farm. Obviously, it's a bit more difficult to get outside to the jungle and get that maybe a bit more illustrious or luxurious farm, you know, the Centaur, juicy Centaur Conquerors or something like that, but still, you do have a place to farm now, and you will imagine to see Spectre trying to push that wave out as much as possible, get that CS going her way. She's already back up to 1,000 gold, picks up the Blade of Alacrity. Now it remains to be seen, is it Yasha or is it a Diffusal Blade? And with just a couple more items, if they can maybe prolong this a bit more, she can get big and start dishing out the damage, but like we've talked about already, the difference in items is absolutely outstanding, and a lot of that comes because, of course, they have that huge goal lead going for CNB, 25,000 right now. That's absolutely ridiculous, getting to 30,000 rather soon, and 20,000 experience then on top of all of that. So Osiris, like you said, maybe pushing them to the brink, maybe pushing CNB to the brink and trying to, of course, wither them down for game 2 here.
Yep, definitely stepping back with 1 foot in the grave, I guess you could say. They're just trying to hold on here. This could potentially be the all-or-nothing fight to come out here. Dazzle's going to look to sit back, see if he can get a very nice weave. He luckily got it to level 2. They throw it out early here. They're throwing up the defenses, maybe in case they get caught off with something. Maybe they're looking to bait something out, try to get them, you know, over-aggressive and committed to something they can't properly fight. Guanzo has been Vendetta, now have to pull back and wait as it's on, but they're already going for the base right now. Dragon Form's going to be popped here. They're going to look to push it. Impale doesn't land. Carapace in desperation. Nice tornado on 2 with the EMP to follow. Rubik's down a little bit, but he's still in this one in a very aggressive. King RD pushing right past the racks, trying to pick up a couple of kills. There goes the Ice Blast to 5. He's fighting this pretty much on his own right here, way up in the front, while Weaver is going to town on these racks right now, ripping apart. Silence will not matter. You cannot stop this man. You haven't yet. He's 7-0 and 3. You can't stop this Weaver, going on to a monster kill streak, pushing on forward, cleaning house with the help of the Swarm. 1 more racks remains, Mott, but this is over.
Yeah, you said it. Pretty much that DK 1v5ing the entire team, pushing everybody back so they could focus on the set of racks here. They're going to continue to go. Tornado's up. Kingard getting caught out a bit, but he's so tanky. There's the Blink Lasso we've been waiting for. Tava going on to Classic. The damage too much. The Fade Bolt cleaning up that Dazzle. Ice Blast is going to fly once more. It's going to be off the mark, but at this point they'll back off. They've secured another set of racks. They can back off and say, listen, we accomplished our objective. Let's get back. Let's regen up. Let's go again. And all the meanwhile, they didn't even use a lasso in that engagement. When you're pushing into the high ground, you say, okay, yes, Blink, lasso, 4 staff out, see what you can get. But now they're just going to man up. BKB now for Kingard. He does get Demonic Purge. 40R getting low. There's the Aegis being used right now. Lincoln Sphere on cooldown for 14 seconds, as is the BKB. Do they have anything to lock him down with? The answer is no. He is so elusive. 8-0 and 5, like you talked about. He's unkillable. There's no way they're bringing him down right now. Kingard's going to get Spectral Daggered, but as it stands, they will back off. They'll be happy with the tier 3. They'll make themselves pretty comfortable. They'll get back home, regen up. Os wants to continue the chase, but I don't know. No, yeah, okay, they're going to back off now, I think.
I mean, their abilities are on cooldown. I guess that's somewhat of an opportunity to try to get something going, but they can't even catch up. This squad is just too farmed and too strong at this point. I'm very surprised they're actually still looking to hold on to this one. I guess, like I said, they want to just play CNB all the way out, make them sweat for it. But they don't have to sweat for taking out the Invoker. They grab him right up, pull him back with the help of the lasso, and he is out of here. And that's more than enough now for Classic to go, GG, we've had enough. The Brazilians take the first game in their debut in the ADL.
I gotta say, it's kind of interesting and kind of funny to note that the Invoker dying was like that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, all right, listen, Os's dad, we're done here. We're done. We can't do anything else. We've taken too much punishment already. Let's GG out. Let's get our heads composed and let's get into game number 2, which, by the way, is coming up. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the ADL. It's a pleasure to cast for not only, of course, North America, but all you South American fans as well. I know you guys are cheering out for CNB here, and they have that great first game victory. And, man, what a game it was for CNB.
Yeah, we'll see if Osiris Gaming can come back and try to even things up like they did their last go around on day 1. So they're going to need to dig deep here. I felt that their draft was a little bit shaky. I hope they didn't underestimate CNB. I mean, these teams met before on the 12th, it looks like, of March in Star Ladder, and Osiris did win in that matchup. So maybe CNB are out for blood, out for revenge, rather. But hey, they get it done there, and we'll see what happens in game number 2.
Yeah, guys, we will take a quick break, obviously. Big shout out to our sponsor, Steel Series, of course, High Ground TV. That's us. You can follow us, www.highgroundtv. Myself, twitter.com/MontDota2. My name is Mont, and with me is Kyle Guy, who you can follow at twitter.com/KyleGuy. Guys, we will be right back. Stick around for more Dota, American Dota action, I should say.